jutting into the middle of the lake.
Pretty close to 6 o'clock.
It was the best campsite
What do you
of the
think
whole
is going to happen
campground.
at 6 o'clock?
However, once there, Josh tripped
we're told that we don't know the day or the hour.
Severely bruising his lips and teeth.
Said that
I counted his teeth
it's
with
going
my
to be X
fingers,
number of
and
days,
despite
so
how blood
as every
felt
day
like they were
passes, it's going to
probably
be
all
one
there,
out of X
I
number
didn't
of
get
days.
upset.
But so far
Although
the
his
odds seem
upper
to
and
be
lower
against it.
lips were swelling up like balloons,
Okay.
there were no serious
You know, a lot of
gashes.
That it's not
I looked at all
our
the
business.
equipment I had
It's
carried
not
to the
for you
campsite
to know the
and
time of the
decided we
season
were
is
not
set.
going home.
I know that says it in the
My father's
Bible.
The fact is, we had a great time. We cooked and ate until we could not eat anymore.
Yeah.
The kids cooked and we burned most of the stuff. We went fishing in the
I know
rapids,
that
spent 2 nights camping, and
there's
one
been a lot
night
of
even entertained
billboards, and a
ourselves
lot of
with the
flyers.
local wildlife.
It's been all over the TV and
Matthew,
the radio,
who was
and a
then
whole
4,
lot of
began
people are
screaming,
saying that.
Dad,
I know in my
Dad,
life,
you got to see
I've met
this.
a lot of people say those
What
kinds
is
of
it? I
things.
cried, expecting the worst.
That they walk around with
We
a placard,
trained
you know,
these frogs.
and say that the world's
If
coming
you
to
run
an
that
end,
one
this,
by
that,
me
the
again,
other thing, and
It's true, Dad.
you know,
Come see, we trained
people used
the
to make fun of
frogs.
them. Nothing really ever
The
happened.
night
You know?
before,
I seem to remember that, wasn't there something in the 90s?
That peninsula
1994,
became filled
same
with
film
frogs.
again.
What did you
We
say
caught
then?
about 30 of them and put
Pretty
them in
much
a
the same
bucket
thing.
overnight.
Really?
I
As
remember
kids
actually
were
the book
playing
was,
with frogs,
it was
they
orange or
noticed
red
something
with like
special.
Cooper
If they
grotesque
tossed a frog
typeface in
into the
front of
lake,
it.
it would turn
1994
and head back
question
toward
mark.
them. So they said they had trained
I really don't
the
remember
frogs.
that, but
I mean,
I
it's
went
not the
over and
first
watched
time
the kids picking up
people have
these
been
dirty
setting
little
dates
frogs.
since Yeshua said that.
Matt yelled, "Hey,
Okay.
Dad, watch this!" Then he picked up a frog.
I know.
threw it
I
out
seem to
into the
remember
middle of
for
the
me,
lake, and we all watched it swim
something
back
happened in the
shore.
80s.
By the
It was
way,
the
it's now
funniest thing I'd
5:50
ever
p.m. We're actually listening to WFME radio, which happens to be part of that network.
I laughed
And
until I cried,
yes, it's
watching
part of
these
the
little
recording here
kids
because
train
we
up
are
land
having
frogs.
commentary.
It was
It
great.
is indeed fair use under the
Now,
U.S.
when I was
copyright
growing
law
up, we
as it
always tore our
stands
tents
of
playing.
21 May
I
20.
wanted to make sure that the kids did not play aimlessly
And,
in the tents and tear up
I
the
seem to remember that in the
So I
1980s
made a
there was
rule
some
that I
kind of big
wanted
thing
the
about
kids
the
to sleep
rapture.
when they were in
Oh,
tents
yeah,
and do
88
nothing
reasons
else.
why the
I
rapture was done
decided
in
to stipulate
1988.
that
Yeah.
everyone
And
had
it
to
was
stay
put
up
out,
until
and it
10
was a
o'clock.
couple that was involved in the
Kids were
ministry.
actually barred
And
from
they
the
were like,
tents and
oh,
from sleeping
talking about
until
egg
then,
on the face.
on the theory that I would wear them out.
I remember that was
and
a
they would
big
long
talk,
to go
you
to
know.
sleep.
I remember
At
reading about
first, the
that.
kids thought it was great that they could stay up late.
I seem
That
to
night, we loaded up
remember
our
in
packs and
history
went on a search
that
and
in the
destroy mission,
19th
attacking a
century
few other
there was a
campgrounds
big
with
thing
our squirt
towards the
guns.
late 1800s,
We were
like
making our way back
1888
to
or
camp.
somewhere around
Not
there.
about 8
Actually,
o'clock,
thinking of
just
18,
dragging with
1844, the
exhaustion.
Millerite
The
movement.
children
Maybe.
were
The
asking
Great
me,
Disappointment.
Dad,
Yeah,
can
that's
you
it.
please go
The
to
Great
bed?
Disappointment. That was
Nope, I said.
1844?
No, you can't go
Thereabouts.
until 10 o'clock.
1840s.
Well, totally, what was that
At
about?
about 9:30,
Well,
they were
same thing,
begging
you
to
should
go to
have
sleep,
come
so I
back.
said, okay, you can go to bed if you
Resurrection,
promise to go
judgment,
right to sleep.
eternity.
Those little
Is that
kids
where,
crawled into the sack and went to sleep.
Like the
I
7
got
days of
8
Adventist
hours of
Christian
shut-eye
Sciences
before I
and all that
did the
came out of
first
that?
surgery
Christian
the next
Science
morning.
came later, but
Like I said,
yeah,
it
the
was a
Seventh
great
Day
time.
Adventists come out of that.
We got home
Okay.
in one
And then for the
piece.
Seventh,
I
I think
almost
it's
blew
the
it at
Seventh
the
Day
end of it.
Adventist, or
I
maybe
got
someone
through
else
the 2
involved in
days
the
pretty
Millerite
well
movement,
until we were at the
or a
campsite
result of the
toilet.
Great Disappointment.
Joshua, who was 2,
C.T.
walked in.
Russell,
I turned
Philip
my
Bible
back
Studies
on him just
Association,
long enough for him to
Metro
wash his
Jehovah's
hands in what he
Witnesses.
thought
Oh,
was
really?
the
That came out of that
bathroom
show?
sink.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it was a
That I didn't
commode
know.
hanging on the wall
I
in
was
a
wondering
men's
when that
bathroom,
started, yeah.
full of urine.
Well,
I
Jehovah's
almost lost it.
Witnesses did the
Some
same
words
thing in
quickly came to
1914
my
and again in
lips, but I shut them
1975.
off
I know,
and
they
suggested
say that,
Joshua wash his hands carefully
The devil was
before
cast
grabbing
down
any
from the
red
heavens in
wet candies.
1914 at
His
the beginning
only
of the
other
First World
mishap
War.
was poison ivy behind both ears, which caused an
We got
allergic
involved.
reaction, so both of his ears were
I don't
swelled up.
remember. Well, it ended in
Sticking out
1918,
90
the First
degrees
World
from
War.
his head.
But I know it
when he
initially
pulled into the driveway.
started, I believe, in
Can't imagine
1914
what
in
Susie
Europe,
must have
right?
thought
Yeah.
when she got her first look at us.
And then we
Here
got
we were,
involved later
unshowered,
on.
with Joshua's lips
Thinking of
swollen,
Lusitania, I think,
nearly to the
or-
size of
Yeah,
hot dogs,
yeah.
and his ears sticking straight out. Susie looked down and
5:53
screamed,
p.m.,
"What happened to Joshua?"
North American
I
Eastern
said, "Look,
Standard
he's
Time,
alive, all right.
It's a nice
We went
day. It
camping,
was
and he's alive.
GMT -4.
This calls for a celebration.
beautiful, quiet day. sun was out.
We're reading
A lot of
from Phil
tropical
Downer's
cloud
book,
formations.
A Father's
We got
Reward.
tropical weather moving
On
in
this
the
15-minute
southeast
program,
of the
John
ocean.
Burdick, your host on the Father File.
We've had a stationary front over us for
Phil
more
Downer
than a week.
continues. Since that time, we have done a lot of camping.
Yeah, a lot of rain.
After a
this
while,
week,
the kids got so proficient
Great
at
if
it,
you're a plant.
I had to call
Yeah.
on Friday afternoon
Well,
and
I
say,
think we might have got a little
okay,
too much
load
rain.
the car.
Certain areas
By the
probably
time I was
flooded out.
home, everything
I
would
know
be
we had
ready.
a very bad storm.
They
the
knew
other
where
night.
the sleeping bags were.
It was really wild.
Abigail would make the shopping list. We would all pile
The
into
lighting
the
was
van,
so strong
stop at
here
the grocery store
that when
on
it
the way
hit,
out
the
of
whole,
town, then go
whole
camping.
area just lit up.
I learned by
You
delegating.
can see the wind,
we could
it's
go
like it
camping
went
without all
for a
the
second
effort that I
until it
used
was
to
like daylight,
expend.
and then it got
At
dark.
the same time, we could have fun
the
putting
lighting
the
was
camp
very
together,
close. It was very
learning
intense.
orderliness, leadership,
Sounds like something
management, and
nearby might have
principles
got
of
shot.
teaching and supervising. I'm no camping
But
expert,
anyway, yeah.
but you would never know that by talking with my children.
Yeah, I was
By
just
spending
curious
time
about
with
that,
them,
because that's what you're
I
hearing
became
right
the
now.
guru of camping
So
wisdom.
we'll have to wait and see, you know, what's going on.
After camping, we got into sports.
Do
We
I,
found
did I
the
hear the word
area of
camping?
sports was a great training ground.
Oh, when it's, yeah, you just family camping.
What kind of camping?
Child to every
That was a
practice.
nice day today.
We decided that wasn't a
Very nice.
schedule that would work for us. To have the children enjoy
Nice
the
sunny.
same sport at the same pulling us apart.
I knew everybody was
One
talking
of the
today.
funny projects that started out
Not at
horribly,
the diner though,
turned
that
out
wasn't
great,
brought up.
occurred
But
when
just
the
at the
boys
services.
started
Yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah.
I travel a great deal in the winter months, so the kids and
But I
I
was
do not
watching
have
the
as
news
much
the other
time
day.
together
Some
during
guy
that part of the year.
Spent
Susie decided to
$140,000
have
of
the
his
boys
life
take up
savings
wrestling.
to
All
put
of
all
them
those
were
signs up
excited
in New York
about
City.
it, and Susie
Can
came
you
home
believe
and
that?
announced, Phil, the
Man,
boys
if I
are going to
was
wrestle.
fortunate
It is
enough
very
to have
inexpensive, and they practice at the
$140,000
junior
in my life
high
savings,
right down the street.
I would put
Only
up signs
6
all over the
tournaments.
place and go
How tough
broke
could it be?
at the end of my life.
I went down
I guess
to
he
the first
felt that,
practice and came home with the
now he
shocking
was gonna
news
be raptured,
that
so
we
it
had
didn't
failed
matter,
to
you know?
inquire about some
Well,
key
you gotta be
issues
careful.
in regards
Think
to the
about if
wrestling
they
team.
wear those that tickle
First of
one's
all,
ears,
I
but you
informed
should
Susie that wrestling was
you
not
see?
like baseball,
I still
in which
remember reading that
everybody
scripture.
plays at the same
Yeah,
time.
it's been a lot of
A wrestling
irritating
match is
with
like a swimming
Yeah.
meet, where you have different heats for different weight classes and competitors. In wrestling, tournaments often start on
Yeah, you're
Friday
right.
night and are not
I know
finished
when I
until
was,
midnight Saturday.
in the
Also,
80s
this
when I
little
really
wrestling
became a
team we
believer, you know,
joined is a part of the Tri-State Wrestling League.
I was
So we went to
mesmerized by
tournaments
these
all over
charismatic
Georgia,
leaders,
Tennessee, and
and then I
Alabama.
saw several of them
Sometimes
fell
driving
from
2 or
grace,
3 hours to get to a
and
tournament.
it shook my face.
We were pretty
then I
overwhelmed and
realized
disgusted by the whole thing at first.
I should be looking directly
We
at
asked
God,
God to show us
not
what
at-
to do.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, we
people,
felt led
you know?
to stay involved.
because
Wrestling turned out to be a
that
wonderful
filter
learning experience.
is a bad filter to have.
Discipline,
Because if they
diet,
stumble,
and
you can stumble,
individuality.
you know?
Also,
And
wrestling
then you
is
suddenly
a very
realize,
humbling
I
sport.
wasn't really looking
Where on
at God,
any
I
given
was
day,
looking at
you
God
can
through
get your
them.
bell rung.
And I was
We found
venerating
there were
them
very
instead
few
of
bullies who wrestled
venerating God.
because losing was
I
inevitable
just like
for
grew and
everyone.
became wise, you know?
The wrestling
So
tournaments
I don't do
offered a
those
great
kind of things
opportunity
anymore.
for me to
But
let
I mean,
the
human
guard go
nature,
off with
you
the
know, I mean,
boys.
you hear people
Abigail
talking all
and
the
Anna
time.
often came
You
along
wonder,
and read
you
their
know?
books.
Right.
Susie usually stayed at home with Susanna
So
to
it's just
prepare
crazy,
the next
you know?
week's lesson.
I mean, we
We went to
recently had
different
some
places around the tri-state area.
horrific
and
earthquakes
wrestled and
around
got
the
to know
world,
other
and,
families. We really
terrible
had a great time
hurricanes, and then we
together.
had this
And
terrible
it became a time
flood.
for me to support
You know,
the
they
boys
went down to
in what I
Mississippi,
would
they said the
consider
worst.
one of the
I
most
remember a couple of years ago, they
difficult
had a
sports
flood in the
ever. As the
upper
oldest
Midwest,
Olympic
and they
sport,
said it was the worst
I
in
could see
500
why
years.
wrestling has
What-
been
what
so
is this
popular
one?
throughout history.
Yeah, it was in the
The only
90s.
downside
And
is
that's
that
Clinton
the boys are
was,
so big now.
the Red River,
I can't beat them
that,
as
that river
often.
flows north
We all
of the
start
Hudson
wrestling
Bay in
on the
Canada.
living room
Really?
floor.
Oh, all right. And
Well, our time is up for
I
this
went-
edition
I
of
went
the
about
Father File. Jeremy
this-
Rubik here.
this flood,
During this
you know,
15-minute program every
this is
week
the
during the
worst
same quarter
that
hour,
they
we read
ever
Christian
remember,
books on
man.
fathering. Right now,
Wow.
sharing from Phil Denver's A Father's Reward. Hope you can join us next week at the same time on the Father File here on Family Radio.
5:58.
yeah, a couple of minutes. We'll find out what's going on.
WFME, Newark, New York City. Family radio time is 6 o'clock.
Well, here we are. 6 o'clock, Paul.
You got it.
Here's my toast to all those who believe.
Well, I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday and welcome to WFME
I am. I'm having a
Reports.
wonderful
We've got a
Saturday.
great guest today, and he's here to talk about health specifically
wonderful time. I'm still here.
He's written a
I
very
feel good.
interesting book, and he
God
comes
is
from
good.
really a fascinating background.
And I believe
in
what you said. I
pharmacy and
believe what
science.
Scripture says.
But the name of the
Jesus
book
himself
is
said
The
he
Four
would
Pillars
know.
of Health, Heart
Only the
Disease.
Father knows.
And we were
And his
talking to the
disciples
author
asked.
of that book, and he has
So
a
how
lot
can
of
anybody know?
really
You know?
interesting and I think provocative things to
I don't
say.
care what
His name is
mathematics
David
you use.
Foreman, and we welcome him to WFME Reports. David, great to have you.
25 years ago, I remember
pleased
people
and
telling me
honored
this
to
is
be
the
here,
end
so
times.
thank you very much for
You know, and
giving me
you
the
can do a lot of
opportunity
things that are going
to
on.
share today.
It's our pleasure,
True.
and as I told
We don't
our-
really know
our
when
audience
it's gonna
members
happen.
that
And
you have a very interesting
you know, a lot of people say it's gonna happen in our
you
lifetime.
owned a pharmacy, and you
I'll
were a
wait and see.
pharmacist for many
I'm
years.
gonna
Tell
go
us
on
about
faith,
your
trusting
early
God,
life and your early career,
and,
how you became a
I'm not
pharmacist,
going to worry about
and where
it.
that
You know, the
comes
sermon
from.
tell you about,
Yeah,
they talk about the book of Revelation. I never heard anybody say that before.
Yeah, I went to
That was a
pharmacy
book of
school in
encouragement.
South Carolina.
I never remember
and I went
taking
to
time to
college
read
to
that,
be a
to
pharmacist
study
so that I could
the
own a
first few
drugstore, right?
scriptures
I
of
was
the
one
book
of
of
those twisted
Revelation.
kids that actually at 16 knew that
I
I
hopped
would
more
own
on
a
the
drugstore.
eschatology study of
got out of
the
college
Great War
at
and
age
all that.
7.
You know?
By 1989, I owned my own store, which was kind of weird for like a 25-year-old
It's a
guy
test of faith.
to start
What
a
is
store from
faith?
square one.
Trust, right?
Yeah.
So you trust.
You know,
I
I enjoyed
trust.
it. I knew every customer by
And
name.
I have no
Apothecary
fear.
Styles, you know,
God
store,
is there.
you know,
He's
Mrs.
real in
Jones
my
would
life.
call me on the phone without
When
even saying
things
who she
happen,
was.
that
She would
things
just say, you know,
But he
Dave,
did say,
refill
I'm
my
gonna face
such
it
and
alone,
such, and, you know,
And I've
it
been,
frustrated people when I finally hired them
I've
because I
faced my
had
own
such a personal
mortality
relationship that
a few
they would
times
not
in
need
my
to
life
identify who
where
they were.
I
I
should
knew
have
their
died.
voice too.
And I knew I was dying.
I was very
I'm
blessed,
sitting
you
here
know,
talking to
financially.
you.
It just,
I didn't do that by myself.
eventually, it just kind of
Even the
wore on me.
doctor
I was-
said that
if there's a possible
that's divine
save, too
intervention.
successful, I
As far
became
as I'm
too
concerned,
successful, and
if God did
just,
that for me then, He's
the
going to do it
stress
for me
of the
now.
everyday prescription
So I'm
filling
really not
and
afraid,
dealing with
whatever.
insurance has kind of burned me out. And
So I'm
after
just going
about
to
9
relax.
years, I decided to sell it and go into
Try to
the
treat
field of
people with
natural
dignity
medicine,
and respect.
which I know a lot of
Because I
people
believe,
say,
like I
"Man,
said,
how
I
do you
always
go
believe in
from
my heart,
pharmacist
God,
to
love comes from God.
natural medicine?"
And I can't really,
they're
even
not
though
that
my
far
human
apart,
nature,
believe it or not.
Really, why do you say
I get
that?
angry at
And
certain
tell us a little
people,
bit
what they
about
say,
how
you know.
that came to be, how you made
But
that
if
transition.
I can
Were you
meditate
reading
and go beyond
more?
that
Were you
initial
hearing more from
emotional,
your patients?
you know,
That's
then I
probably one of the
understand
beginning spots.
that God is
you know,
love, then
I'd say for 3 or 4 years.
I feel bad for
before
somebody
I
who's
really, you know, jumped in with both
put in
feet.
a
I had a
narrow
lot of
frame
customers that were
that they can't look to the left or right.
You know, as they called
You
it back
understand
then, an
what I mean?
herb shop, and they were, you know, bringing their bottles to me and asking me if they were safe, and
They don't think
in all
much of
honesty,
me.
back then I would say no,
You know what?
and it was
That's
because
their
I
problem,
didn't
not
know.
mine.
And I was afraid of interactions
No.
between their
I've had
medications
very
and,
close people do that to me. I
the
feel
supplements.
sorry
And,
for them.
and it was really just
I
a
wouldn't
fear
know
factor.
that.
And I think that's a lot of modern medicine people.
I just
But anyway,
wanna-
you know, some people would ask
I've
me,
done
and
my
then
life.
I was just looking for a real, like
I'm
another
just
area in
my
my
note.
pharmacy to
Listen,
add some
who and what I am.
profitability. And I had a family member who was really
that's
into
it.
natural medicine, and he's, you know, he's like, "Hey, Dave, you know, you can put these
I know different
supplements in
people
your
have different
store
kind of
and double
ministries
your
and,
money on them." So some of it was financially
you know,
driven. And
they
so finally one
witness
day
in
I was like,
certain
you know
ways,
what?
but I believe my
Get
life
rid of
is a
a big
witness.
chunk of my inventory.
And how I conduct
over
myself
the
in
counter,
my
and I
life
put in a whole line of
is a
supplements,
witness
and
to
I just
God.
started.
If you
I
know
started
what
being
my faith
educated
is,
by an RN from
right,
Portland,
and I live a
Oregon.
certain way,
And
right,
you know the reason I
then you'll know
enjoyed
that this
was,
guy who believes in
you know,
God,
somebody else with a
right,
medicine type
acts in a
background.
very
She was
loving
able
way.
to speak my language of science, which
So
is pretty
if
much
there
all
is
I
a
ever
God,
had.
and
And
God
I
is in
finally
love,
became to realize
well, that
that,
guy is that. He's doing just
you know,
doing it for
30%
himself.
of
He's
the
not trying to
drugs
build
that are sold here in the United
a
States
mansion in heaven
originated from a
or
plant.
stuff like that. I'm
You know,
just
so
grateful.
they used to
you know.
teach in pharmacy school
I'm
a course
happy
called
now because
pharmacognosy,
I'm talking to you,
which is the pharmacy
and we're
of
both
plants.
alive, and we got
And
another
actually, it started
gift of
heating
being
up
alive
again
at this
probably
time.
5 years after I
And I'm
graduated
grateful for
because
that,
of
for this moment.
just because of the
I'm not
takeoff
going
of,
to waste any
of
more
natural
than
medicine.
the world's coming to an end. But
And
didn't they
so,
say
you know,
the Bible that the
it
world
really
really is
wasn't
coming
that
to an
far
end,
of a
the
twist,
end
but,
of
you
the
know, it's
system of
funny
things of
because
the world are coming
I
to
was
an
still
end?
skeptical until I started
So
reading more, and I
Radio's no longer
focused in more on the
necessary.
scientific side of things to start with. You know, people would say, you know, hey, I heard Mrs. Jones took this, and it really.
Well, Paul, we're still here, baby.
This part's probably going to be cut out.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to go on the chair and relax for a while. I'm tired. But we're still here.
Yeah.
I should put on CNN and See what they're saying, right?
Yeah, it'd be a riot. In fact, maybe what I should do is take one of the cameras and like follow us into the.
Yeah.
And anyway, the apostasy Bible, but carefully caricature compares to example eyes here. An idea of in is.
Oh, jeez.